Sometimes the most favorite places actually disappear. And this is one that has disappeared over the years. This is Slido Falls, at the location of perhaps the biggest trading spot of the Native Americans in the Pacific Northwest. Tribal people came here from the eastern tribes and the western tribes to do bartering and do trading and to greet one another. Now it's been covered by the waters of the Dalles Dam, but it's...
The House will be in order. Sergeant at Arms Alexander. Sergeant at Arms Alexander.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Senate has arrived and requesting to enter the chamber for joint session.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms Alexander. The House is always happy to be prepared before the Senate is. The Sergeant at Arms of the House and the Sergeant at Arms of the Senate will escort President of the Senate Denny Heck, President Pro Tem Conway, Senator Nobles, and Senator Short to the rostrum. The senators are invited to seats within the chamber. The House will be in order. Welcome to the Washington State Senate. It's good to see many of you returning to the House, and those who've never been here and been House trained, it's still great to see you too. It's now my pleasure to call upon President of the Senate, Denny Heck, to preside over the joint session.
It's always a thrill when we gather together. It truly is. The joint session will be in order. The clerk will call the roll of the members of the House. Abarno, Abel, Barkus, Barnard, Berg, Bergquist, Birnbaum, Berry, Bernofsky, Burnett, Callan, Chase, Connors, Corey, Cortez, Couture, Davis, Dent, Dolio, Donaghy, Doer, Defoe, Dye, Engel, Entenmann, Eslick, Farvar, Fye, Fitzgibbon, Fossey, Goodman, Graham, Gregerson, Griffey, Hackney, Hall, Hill, Jacobson, Keaton, Clicker, Kloba, Levitt, Lekanoff, Lee, Lowe, Macri, Monjarez, Marshall, McClintock, McIntyre, Mena, Mendoza, Morgan, Nance, Obrus, Orcutt, Ormsby, Ortiz-Self, Parsley, Paul, Penner, Peterson, Paulette, Rammel, Reed, Reeves, Richards, Rude, Rule, Ryu, Salahuddin, Santos, Schmick, Schmidt, Scott, Shavers, Simmons, Springer, Stearns, Steele, Stokesbury, Stonier, Street, Stevie, Taylor, Ty, Thuringer, Thomas, Timmons, Valdez, Voles, Wallen, Walsh, Waters, Wiley, Ibarra, Zahn. Madam Speaker. Clerk will call the roll of the members of the Senate.
Alvarado, Bateman, Banky, Braun, Chapman, Christian, Cleveland, Conway, Cortez, Dingra, Dozier, Fortunato, Frame, Gildon, Gaynor, Hanson, Harris, Hasagawa, Holy, Hunt, Kaufman, King, Krishnadasan, Leas, Lovelet, Lovick, McEwen, McCune, Mazal, Nobles, Orwell, Peterson, Riccelli, Robinson, Saldana, Solomon, Schessler, Shoemake, Short, Slatter, Stanford, Torres, Trudeau, Valdez, Wagoner, Warnick, Wellman, Wilson Clare, Wilson Jeff. Mr. President, a quorum is present.
This joint session has been convened to receive the State-of-the-State message from His Excellency Governor Bob Ferguson. The President appoints the following representatives and senators to form a special committee to escort the Supreme Court justices to the House chamber. Representatives Entenmann and Graham, and Senators Wagner and Claire Wilson. The President appoints a special committee to escort the statewide elected officials to the House chamber. Representatives Schmidt and Wiley, and Senators Christian and Slatter. The President appoints a special committee to advise His Excellency Governor Bob Ferguson that the joint session has assembled and to escort him from his chambers to the House chamber, including Representatives Engel and Paulette and Senators Gaynor and Krishnadasan. Sergeant at Arms Alexander.
Mr. President, the Supreme Court justices have arrived.
Will the committee please escort the justices to the front of the chamber? President is exceedingly pleased to present the justices of the Supreme Court who are present today, which I believe is all of them. Chief Justice Deborah Stevens, Associate Chief Justice Charles Johnson, Justice Barbara Mattson, Justice Stephen Gonzalez, Justice Cheryl Gordon McLeod, Justice Raquel Montoya Lewis, Justice Helen Whitener, Justice Salvador Munguia, and for the first time ever, Justice Colleen Melody. Sergeant at Arms Alexander.
Mr. President, the statewide elected officials have arrived.
Will the committee please escort the statewide elected officials to the front of the chamber? It is my distinct pleasure to greet our distinguished statewide elected officials, including Secretary of State Steve Hobbs, State Treasurer Mike Pelliciotti, State Auditor Pat McCarthy, State Attorney General Nick Brown, Superintendent of Public Instruction Chris Reichdahl, former State Senator, Insurance Commissioner Patty Kuderer, and Commissioner of Public Lands Dave Updegrove. It is a special gathering, and we have many distinguished guests, which I know is our mutual privilege to acknowledge the presence of. And so allow me the honor to introduce them. First Lady Colleen Ferguson and Jack and Katie Ferguson. The 22nd Governor of the State of Washington, the Honorable Chris Gregoire. Skykomish Mayor Henry Sladek. And boy, oh boy, I have no recollection of having this many of the leaders of their tribal nations present. I think 13 by my last count. Perhaps we could hold their applause until we're done with all of them, but it is a distinguished group. Chairman Dustin Klatush and Vice Chair Sheila Bray of the Confederated Tribes of the Chehalis Reservation. Chairman Jared Michael Erickson and Council Members Mel Tanasket, Roger Finley, Dana Seymour, and Joseph Finley of the Confederated Tribes of the Colville Reservation. General Council Chairman of the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation, Lindsay Watchman. General Council Chair of the Cowlitz Indian Tribe, Galayal. Council Chairman Anthony Hilaire and Vice Chairman Terrence Adams of the Lummi Nation. Chairman Timothy J. Green Sr. and Council Members Brooke Sawyer and Maria Tolliver of the Makah Tribe. President of the Quinault Indian Nation, Guy Kapoman. Chairman of the Showalter Bay Indian Tribe, Quentin Swanson. Chairman Robert De Los Angeles and Council Members Jolene Williams, Josh Gable, and Melinda Degree of the Snoqualmie Indian Tribe. Chairman of the Spokane Tribe of Indians, Greg Abrahamson. Chairman Chris Peters and Council Members James Peters and Jeremy Walls of the Squaxin Island Tribe. And Chairman of the Suquamish Tribe, Leonard Forsman. Please join me and welcome them here today. As we all know, Washington is an international state, and it is always with such great pleasure that we welcome the members of the Consular Corps to be present with us on this special day. Same request, please hold your applause until the end, if you would, please. And to the Consular Corps and all of you, extend grace if my pronunciation doesn't quite make it. From Canada, Craig Wackel. From the Federal Republic of Germany, Uli Fischer. From the Federative Republic of Brazil, Yara Silva. From Japan, Makoto Iori. From the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Leo van Dorp. From the Kingdom of Norway, Vego Forda. From the Principality of Monaco, Greg Lill. From Quebec, David Ruiz. From the Republic of Austria, Eva Kammel. From the Republic of Chile, Dr. Andres Barija. From the Republic of El Salvador, Marina Martinez. From the Republic of Finland, Christina. Every year. From the Republic of Finland, Christina Hiuka. From the Republic of Guatemala, Christy Andrino. From the Republic of India, Prakash Gupta. From the Republic of Ireland, Bernard Hensey. From the Republic of Korea, Mijo Park. Might I just add that today is the Korean American Day, because it is today the 123rd anniversary of the arrival of the first Koreans to the United States. From the Republic of Latvia, Iman Solmquist. From the Republic of Lithuania, Raza Reichis. From the Republic of Peru, Alfonso Pasaldon. From the Republic of Poland, Teresa Indelak Davis. From the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office, Mei Lin. From the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Robert Twyman. And from the United Mexican States, Victor Ortega. Please give them all Sergeant at Arms Alexander. Will the committee please escort Governor Ferguson to a place on the rostrum? The flags will be escorted to the rostrum by the Washington State Patrol Honor Guard, commanded by Sergeant William Rutherford, and comprised of Corporal Kyle Flagg, Trooper Dean Gallinger, Trooper Jared Raber, and Trooper Michael Sessions. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The national anthem will be performed by the Wapato High School Choir, directed by Aaron Nix. The prayer today will be offered by the Reverend Deanna Driver Gimmer, who is pastor of Hoggers Community Church, a Presbyterian congregation inside the Washington Corrections Center for Women.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to offer a blessing to you all today. As you heard from my introduction, I pastor a congregation of incarcerated individuals at Washington Correction Center for Women in Gig Harbor. I asked some of the members of my congregation if they were given the chance, what they would pray for you. assembled leaders of our beautiful state. As these dearly beloved friends of mine work to heal and dream of brighter futures, they wrote prayers and blessings for you all that I hold within my heart and shaped what I want to offer today. To begin, I want to acknowledge the reality that we all are living with. Some days it is really hard to be human, especially a human who cares, who sees what is wrong and fights for what is right, who stubbornly refuses to give up on hope. You, our elected leaders, alongside your staff, are tasked with a great responsibility of caring for the land and the people of this state. You have it harder than many. So at the start of this new legislative session, I invite you to take a moment with me and breathe. If you'd like, place one hand on your heart and another on your belly, and close your eyes if it is helpful to block out distractions, and take several deep breaths. Feel your heart beating. Feel the air in your lungs. Let it fill up your belly. Feel your feet and your body grounding you and holding you. I invite you to breathe out any anger or fear or stress or division you may be holding, and to breathe in light and love and kindness and peace. And as you keep breathing, may you receive this blessing. God of the cosmos and God of our hearts, we thank you for all the good in our lives, for our loved ones who hold us, for our work which challenges us, for this planet that sustains us. We have been given so many good gifts, too many to name. Thank you. God of the planet and God of our beloved home of Washington State, I ask today that you bless each one gathered here. Bless their bodies with the strength needed to sustain long hours of work. May they get enough sleep and drink enough water. May they be nourished with good food and good conversation. May they remain healthy, free of colds and flus and other illnesses. May they stay connected to their bodies, noticing when tensions rise or fear creeps in, and finding creative and joyful ways to move and to rest. And when their days are extra long, may they be blessed with moments of laughter that make their bellies hurt. Bless their minds with deep knowledge when that's what is needed to stand firm in the strength of conviction, and with humility when that's what is needed to understand other sides and perspectives. May your wisdom guide their decisions, your wisdom which calls each of us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. May they be inspired to think creatively, to not stop at easy answers or fearful no's. As they make decisions for our common good, may they be rooted by integrity. May they remember that we are connected, that my flourishing is tied up with yours and yours and yours. And may this thought remain front of mind: how best can we care for the most marginalized and provide a bright future for our next generation? Bless their hearts with empathy, kindness, and courage. May each one here be grounded in justice and motivated by mercy. May they be willing to let their hearts break, and may those broken hearts spur compassionate action. May each heart be motivated not by concern for self, but by concern for others. May all our hearts hold on to a light of hope, no matter how dark it may feel. And Lord, we give you thanks for those not in this room, but without whom the work ahead could not be done. For those answering phones, sweeping floors, cooking lunches, guarding doors, and much more work that goes on behind the scenes, bless these workers. We are grateful for them. Finally, to close today's blessing, I want to offer you a Franciscan benediction. May God bless you with discomfort at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that you may live deep within your heart. May God bless you with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that you may work for justice, freedom, and peace. May God bless you with tears to shed for those who suffer pain, rejection, hunger, and war, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and turn their pain to joy. And may God bless you with enough foolishness to believe you can make a difference in the world, so that you can do what others claim cannot be done. In the name of Almighty God, Creator and Redeemer and Sustainer, Amen.
Just in case Reverend Driver Gimmer's name sounds a little familiar, you're all going to be hanging out with her sister a whole lot this session, the governor's legislative liaison, Debbie Driver. The president is now exceedingly pleased to welcome Washington State Poet Laureate Derek Sheffield, who has joined us today.
I'm here to share a poem with you, but first I want to thank Reverend Deanna for that poem of a blessing. It was gorgeous. Thank you so much. I've come to you today from my home in the Wenatchee Valley. Since beginning my term in May, I've traveled our state, visiting schools, universities, prisons, churches, senior centers, art centers, museums, art galleries, and land trusts. I am so grateful to be given the chance to make poetry part of today. In August of 2018, my daughters and I joined then Attorney General Bob Ferguson and his family, along with other friends, to hike a stretch of the Olympic coast. Being there those 3 days and 2 nights in communion with others was a deeply moving experience. Never again I knew would I be able to take for granted the fragility and specialness of that wild place. Here is the poem that resulted from the wonder. It is dedicated to our daughters, Katie Ferguson and Kelsey Sheffield. And let me just say too, if you want to do the heart and the belly thing and close your eyes and breathe, please do it. I love that. What will keep us? Every pack-heavied step over sandhoppers and weed-slicked rocks, through driftwood scatters and the chill of tide waters, over wooded headlands as wildfires blaze north, south, east. Every step says, stay. I know mermaids aren't real, Kelsey says, but Daddy, look, holding a whip of bull kelp, whose light bulb face is a brown-green eye under ribbons of translucent hair. We trudge our miles, stepping over oscillating anemones in sunlit pools to pause at hole-in-the-wall and let their tentacles tongue our dipped fingers. And what's this holographic sheen? Not oil and not plastic we see, but a rainbow's iridescence, beaming from a plant. Over teeth of barnacled rocks poking from pools of sand crabs and sculpin, through foamy maroons, emeralds, violets, tangles of surf grass and lettuce cushioning our steps, we hike. Flies parting briefly for our ankles as we take in the gleaming curve of the otter's tail as she rises and dives into clear shallows, a pliable needle threading us and them, water, land, and rippled sky, where the numberless legs of sandpipers twiddle their skittery flocks always just ahead. For even the reek slap of rot from a carcass too far gone for ravens or gulls, we hike. For our own place among the eaters and the eaten, pricking at us as we see how wide the jawbone, how long and curved the fangs. For the piping stutter of a crow-mobbed eagle landing on a shaggy bough, for the lightest touches of day mist on our skin and our headlamps in the night, lighting the tracks of slugs, silvering up every spruce trunk's loom. We hike for what will keep us if we keep it. On a bare stretch of sand ahead, a boulder splits into two bear cubs whose dark heads swivel our way before they turn as one toward the woods and lope out of sight, to go on in the multitudinous dream we need to be beyond our reach. Out past the breaking lines of waves we can just glimpse through binoculars, where the rounded humps of humpbacks slope one way and gray whales the other. 60-some otters floating on their backs have knit themselves into a living net. Weft, warp, leg, paw, kelp blades fixed by holdfasts to the deepest rocks. What is it they catch in their drift of sleep amid mists of rolling webs and stars? And what now as they ride day's swells in and out of sight in the rhythm of our own breathing? Our hike ends at the beginning of what the map calls Wedding Rocks, where people of the macaw long ago carved the round faces of sun and moon among fishers and fish, a whale and orca. What feelings spilled through them as they knelt in these same unceasing sounds of waves, chip after chip falling away? We trace the grooves with our fingers, 5 centuries of wind, laced with the wet snorts and hunger cries of passing animals. Kelsey kneels over some new swirl of shell and exclaims. Katie says not a word, drawing with her stick something in the sand we can't yet see. Thank you.
Derek and Reverend Deanna, thank you for both poems and both prayers. It's arrived, and it is now my distinct privilege and pleasure and honor to introduce the 24th Governor of the State of Washington, Governor Bob Ferguson.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Mr. President, Madam Speaker, tribal leaders, distinguished guests, and my fellow Washingtonians. On this beautiful day, I'm excited to announce that under the new Ferguson administration, for the first time in state history, the Seattle Mariners and Seattle Seahawks won their divisions in the same year. That can't be a coincidence. And we know that our work in professional sports is not done until we bring the Seattle Supersonics back home. That we need to make happen. Now, great teams in sports and in politics are built on foundations of strong leadership. The first time I ever set foot in the governor's office was after I was elected Attorney General, and Governor Gregoire invited me to visit for a conversation. As the only other Washingtonian to serve as both Attorney General and Governor, she has been a mentor to me for a long time. Governor Gregoire, as you know, is with us today. Please join me one more time in welcoming her back to the Capitol. Last year, I attended the inauguration for the president at Heritage University in Toppenish, where we had the pleasure of listening to the Wapato High School Choir. You can see why I was inspired to ask them to perform today. Let's thank them one more time, and Director Aaron Nix for their beautiful rendition of the national anthem. And Pastor Gemmer, thank you so much for your words and your important work, and especially recognizing the many people behind the scenes, the workers who make all of our work possible. Please thank her for her service to the people of the state of Washington. And you heard from our poet laureate. I went to the University of Washington. It was a long time ago when I went there, and there was a group of college buddies who remained quite close. One of those college buddies was our poet laureate. So I'm not sure if my college friends are more surprised that Derek Sheffield became poet laureate or that I became governor. But it's a happy coincidence that we both have those positions at exactly the same time. Please give a round of applause for Derek Sheffield. And just to be clear, Derek was nominated for this position after a lengthy process before I became governor. Also here today, of course, is my wife, Colleen. Colleen comes from a family of hard workers. Her father, who died far too young, was a bricklayer and a leader in his union. As high school students, Colleen and her sister worked at a metals plant where their dad was employed. Colleen did a variety of jobs there, including learning how to use a jackhammer. Colleen was the first member of her family to graduate from college and earned her master's degree at the UW. Like many Washingtonians, she's a working mom who does a great job juggling multiple obligations. She's very passionate about her international education work with students in our state's outstanding community college system. And as you might imagine, my election as governor brings with it some rather significant changes for Colleen and our family. But Colleen handles those changes and guides our children with grace. Please join me in welcoming the First Lady of Washington State, Colleen Ferguson. Speaking of our twins, Jack and Katie are happy to play hooky from school today, and they will be heading off to college this fall. Katie will pursue her education in the Midwest, where she'll be playing collegiate fast-pitch softball. And using my prerogative as governor and proud softball dad, I note for the historical record that 2 days ago, Katie pitched her team to victory and went 2 for 3 at the plate. Jack is still deciding where he's going to college, but he already has exciting options, and I know he'll choose a school that fits his talents and his interests. Jack has, ever since he was a young boy, always had a deep interest in history. And as he worked the past few months on his many college applications, I was not surprised that Jack identified history as a likely major. So I've been thinking about history lately. Sometimes good history, sometimes challenging history. It seems to me that history works in different ways. And historic events for a state come in two forms: historical events that happen to us and the history that we create. Last month, history came to us in the form of historic flooding that caused tremendous damage and hardship to thousands of Washingtonians. After devastating flooding in 2007, then Governor Chris Gregoire said, quote, "I am reminded time and time again of the tremendous heart and spirit of Washingtonians." That heart and spirit, I've seen it firsthand. I saw it in Sumas and Concrete and many other towns where I had the privilege of meeting with Washingtonians and hearing their stories. I visited a bar and grill in Hamilton and had a conversation with the owner, Teresa, as she showed me around. The damage was devastating. Yet, Teresa remained optimistic, and she's determined to keep going after she strips the building down to the studs and rebuilds. I told Teresa that after she reopens, I'll stop by for a visit and a beverage or two. I hope you'll join me. I'll send you all an invitation so we can celebrate what Teresa and so many Washingtonians have overcome. I also met mayors and council members in those towns, like Skykomish Mayor Henry Sladek, who demonstrated true leadership even as they faced personal hardships from the flooding. And there are many images that left us all shaking our heads at the power of nature. One of the most jarring was certainly the video of an entire home literally being swept away by the Nooksack River. That home belonged to Mike Kasich and Sarah Hansen and symbolized the scope and devastation of this disaster. Mike said, "That place was our life savings. That place was everything." Mike and Sarah have a long road ahead of them, but they are deeply appreciative of the many Washingtonians they don't even know who reached out and offered to help. Mike and Sarah are here today, representing many Washingtonians who lost so much. Please join me in showing our support for them during this difficult period. Many Washingtonians found themselves in life-threatening situations, in the dark of night, at a home suddenly filling with water, or in a car trapped by freezing, fast-moving rivers. First responders, including our National Guard, risked their lives to help fellow Washingtonians. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers worked closely with our National Guard and others to protect our levees and the communities around them. The historic floods also dealt a devastating blow to our infrastructure. But our Washington State Department of Transportation crews answered the call. From Yakima to Enumclaw, state employees and our partners worked under challenging conditions and cleared 97 roads in just 4 weeks. One of those roads is Highway 2, a critical artery that connects our state. Thanks to the crews who labored 24 hours a day, Highway 2 is now open with no lane restrictions and just one detour. Joining us today are Transportation Secretary Julie Meredith, WashDOT Maintenance Superintendent Joe Munoz, Major Nathan Fry and Sergeant Whiteberg of the National Guard, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Seattle District Commander Colonel Catherine Sanborn, and Skykomish Mayor Henry Sladek. Please thank them and all of our state workers for their service during this very challenging time. I'm proud of the way we've come together to meet this historic moment. Local leaders and community members told me that their state government showed up. that they often did not even need to seek support because someone from the state was already reaching out and offering assistance. Government gets its share of criticism, but it's only fair to stop and notice when government delivers, especially under the most challenging and stressful circumstances. We were not passive observers of a historic event, quite the opposite. When the story of this historic flood is written, it will recognize that when history paid us an unexpected visit in December of 2025, the people and this state stepped up and faced the challenge head on. It's that heart and spirit of our people that allows me to report today that the state of our state remains strong. We have the 9th largest economy in the nation. We have a AAA bond rating. We dominate in space industry manufacturing. Washington is building the world's first commercial fusion power plant in Chelan County. The University of Washington, Fred Hutch, and the Allen Institute are part of a globally recognized ecosystem working on next-generation drug discovery and treatments. Several of you joined me for the launch of the Cascadia Sustainable Aviation Accelerator in Snohomish County last week, an opportunity for our state to once again set an example and set the pace for clean energy investment. We had the largest increase in the country in requests to form new businesses. Washington's business applications grew 16.2%, while nationwide applications dropped by nearly 5%. And guess what? People continue to move to Washington State. According to U-Haul rankings that just came out, Washington ranks 6th in the country for gaining one-way movers. In other words, our state continues to grow. And soon the world will be coming here for the biggest sporting event of all, the FIFA World Cup. These are just a few of the reasons why the state of our state is strong. But I am clear-eyed about the areas where we must do better. And my first proposed budget is laser-focused on those improvements. To keep our growth going, let's get back to basics. Invest in our infrastructure, make our tax system more fair, and continue our progress on addressing the housing crisis. In the next 2 months, let's create history to make the state of our state even stronger. Our transportation infrastructure is in dire need of investment. You know it, I know it, and trust me on this, the people of our state know it as well. We have 80 bridges in poor condition, which means, and I quote, advanced deficiencies such as section loss, deterioration, or seriously affected structural components. That's why I propose historic investments to take care of our bridges, more than $1 billion, without raising taxes. Our infrastructure challenges include roads as well. We rank first in the country for potholes, and that's not the kind of first we want. This matters to Washingtonians. The average cost for pothole-related repairs on a car is $400. My budget invests $164 million to pave hundreds of miles this summer. Over 10 years, I propose investing $756 million more to pave even more. And again, it does not raise taxes. These critical investments are good for jobs, good for our economy, and will keep Washington moving. In short, my proposal constitutes the largest investments in maintenance and preservation in over 2 decades. Let's make that history together. And there is one more piece of our core transportation infrastructure that needs investment: our iconic ferries. Thanks to the leadership of Steve Nevey, we returned to full domestic service for the first time since 2019. And it gets better. We went from 600 cancellations in the summer of 2024 to just 191 last summer. But Steve and I keep emphasizing that this significant progress is fragile because of an aging fleet. We have 11 vessels over 40 years old, including one that's 67. And yes, Jack and Katie, that ferry is even older than me. Just last week, we had 3 ferries go out of service unexpectedly. And you know what that means. reduce ferry schedules and hardships for Washingtonians who depend on that service. That's why I'm proposing an additional $1 billion to build 3 more ferries and continue our work to replace an aging fleet. Another challenge we face is the housing crisis. We did, you did, wonderful work on this issue last session. Let's build on that momentum, literally. My proposed budget, here's that word again, makes a historic investment, $244 million, the largest ever supplemental budget investment in housing. With those dollars, we will build and protect thousands of affordable housing units, make it easier for first-time home buyers to enter the market, and accelerate the process to build housing. We must continue to be bold and make historic investments in housing, both in policy and in dollars. So I'm confident we are well positioned to address internal challenges and meet the moment with unity and clarity. But we cannot ignore the external challenges that create division and cost to our state, our families, and our communities. We need to be direct about what is happening in our country and our state with ICE. It's horrific, it's unjust, and it needs to stop now. Pastor, I'm ad-libbing a bit, but I think in your remarks you mentioned anger at injustice as part of your remarks. I'm angry about this. I think many of you are as well. As an American, I never thought I would see federal agents in masks jumping out of unmarked cars and grabbing people off our streets. This conduct will undoubtedly be remembered as a shameful period in our nation's history. Senator Valdez has a bill that prohibits law enforcement from wearing masks and requires identifying information to be clearly displayed on their uniform. Let's get that legislation to my desk immediately so I can sign that into law. Speaking of challenges with the federal government, the Centers for Disease Control has seen an exodus of scientific experts and alarming shifts in policy that place Washingtonians' health at risk. I immediately took action and teamed up with other governors to form the West Coast Health Alliance. The alliance ensures Washingtonians will continue to receive responsible recommendations from health experts who rely on, you guessed it, science. But we are not stopping there. I'm proud to partner with Insurance Commissioner Cooterer and a bipartisan group of legislators, Senator Cleveland, Representative Gronowski, and Senator Harris, to shift vaccine recommendations away from science-denying federal committees and place it with our own Washington State Department of Health, which will be guided by, you guessed it again, science. In addition to these challenges, we are facing an affordability crisis affecting Washingtonians across our state. Our regressive upside-down tax code does not help. Our system takes too much in taxes from hard-working families and not enough from the wealthy. Washington families whose income is in the bottom 20% pay a whopping 13.8% of their total income in taxes, while those whose income is in the top 1% pay only 4.1% of their income. That's not fair, that's not right, and that's why I'm calling for something truly historic, a millionaire's tax. And I want to be clear that when I use the term millionaire, I mean someone who makes more than $1 million in income in a single year. That does not include assets like the value of your home. Less than 0.5% of Washingtonians will pay it. Now let's talk about what happens to the revenue from this millionaire's tax. Bottom line, we must take a significant percentage of these dollars and put them back in the pockets of Washingtonians. Let me give you 2 examples. Some of those gains must be used to expand eligibility for and increase the amount of the Working Families Tax Credit. Under this program, the state sends a check each year to working families. That's a great start, thanks to you. But we can do even better. We must expand this program so that more people are eligible and increase it so Washingtonians get more money back in their pockets. Second, we must also use a significant portion of the revenue to lower taxes on small business owners. Small businesses are the backbone of our economy. They create jobs and they build community. I want to let them keep more of their hard-earned money. They should not have to pay a B&O tax until they gross more than $1 million in revenue. For example, if you own a business and you gross $800,000 annually, you have a ton of expenses and currently pay about $4,000 in B&O tax. That small business owner should pay nothing. This approach creates the biggest tax break for small business owners in state history. We should also use the gains from the millionaire's tax to put more money back into K-12 schools and bolster Washington students' access to a world-class education. So let's seize this opportunity, this session, to make our tax system more fair. And speaking of making life more affordable, my budget has specific ideas to help Washingtonians. A one-time $200 household utility bill credit for 125,000 families. $33 million to expand the state home energy assistance program, which provides utility bill assistance to thousands of households. And here's another historic milestone. Thanks to the generosity of the Ballmer Group, the state will receive upwards of $1 billion to invest in free early learning programs that help kids and hardworking families. I'm proud to partner with Senator Claire Wilson and Representative Steve Berquist on a bill that allows us to utilize this incredible gift to open up 10,000 additional spots for our kids. With these actions and others, we can make this short session long on affordability and make real differences for Washingtonians. Now, in my inaugural address last year, I highlighted specific proposals from both Democratic and Republican legislators that I thought should be passed by this body, and we had an excellent success rate. Half of those proposals became law. Those bills improved public safety, ensured farmers received the rebates promised under the Climate Commitment Act, prevented the National Guard and other states from being sent into Washington state without our permission, and helped protect children in crisis. Given that success, let's do it again right now. Senators Nobles and Wagner, Representatives Levitt and Penner, as the son and grandson of veterans, I support your effort to expand eligibility for free early learning programs to military families, and I look forward to working with you on that important issue. Representatives Mangeras and Peterson, thank you for House Bill 2151, which will create more affordable housing by making it easier for pre-made modular housing to meet building standards. I look forward to signing it into law. Senators Mazzal and Lovick, I share your interest in making our roads safer by expanding the definition of reckless driving. Let me know how I can help get that legislation to my desk for signature. Representatives Lowe and Reed are working together to allow the Traffic Safety Commission better access to health and medical information when reviewing fatal crashes. Uncovering the cause of these crashes helps with prevention and provides closure for Washingtonians who lost their loved ones. I look forward to signing that legislation into law as well. And Representatives Dent and Springer, I appreciate your bipartisan work on House Bill 2104, which ensures that local fire departments have access to air resources to fight wildland fires. I look forward to working with all of you over the next 60 days on these and other ideas to get good policy to the finish line. Last year, when I was speaking here, I said, our mission must be to speed up government and cut down permit and license processing times. If we are late delivering a permit or a license, that's a hardship for that Washingtonian. So I signed an executive order to improve our response times, and we're getting results. The Department of Health reduced processing time for behavioral health licenses from 4 months to 6 weeks. The Department of Licensing cut the processing time for security guards from 46 days to 30 days. They've also cut the processing time for cosmetologists from 40 days to 30 days, and we're just getting warmed up. My executive order requires agencies that don't meet deadlines to refund the application fee. That's fair, but we have a problem. Some agencies do not have the legal authority to provide those refunds. Thankfully, Representative Richards and Senator Krishnadasan have a bill for that. To put this refund policy into state law, let's make government more responsive to the people by supporting that proposal. One final issue and a friendly challenge to all of you. Washington is one of the most generous states, thanks to your leadership, in helping young people attend college and apprenticeships. Nearly half of Washington households qualify to receive this financial aid, and many are eligible to have full tuition covered at our public universities. But there's a catch. In order to unlock this assistance, that family must complete the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA form, which brings us to the challenge. We rank 47th for families completing the FAFSA. Improving our response rate is something all of us support. I recently signed an executive order establishing the Washington Completes FAFSA campaign. That order establishes an advisory board to guide our efforts in increasing completion rates. Teenagers get their information in ways that adults like us don't always understand. That's why our advisory group includes students to help us reach their peers. Sienna, Gerard, and Colin Bannister are two of those students, and they are here today. Sienna and Colin, please stand and be recognized for your efforts on behalf of many Washingtonians. To my colleagues in the legislature, here's my friendly challenge to you. Join me in this effort. My team will be following up with information about the program and ways you can help. For example, would you consider going to your high schools to promote this wonderful opportunity? Let me know and I'll try to join you. Positioning Washington for an even greater and stronger future is why we all serve. Serving our constituents and doing this important work. It's why we take our roles seriously, debate and advocate for policies that we believe in. Let's give inspiration to future generations that we took up the challenge and provided a foundation for success. Washingtonians are not mere bystanders to history. We are bold, and with heart and spirit, we forge our destiny and make history. Thank you for joining me in serving the great people of the great state of Washington. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Governor Ferguson. Always an inspiration. Will the committee come forward and escort Governor Ferguson from the House chambers? Representatives Engel and Paulette, Senators Gaynor and Krishna Dawson. Will the committee come forward and escort the state elected officials from the House chamber? Representatives Schmidt and Wiley and Senators Christian and Slatter. Will the committee come forward and escort the state elected officials? We did that, didn't we? And they did a good job of it. Will the committee come forward and escort the Supreme Court justices from the House chamber? Representatives Intiman and Graham and Senators Wagner and Claire Wilson. The representative from the 34th Legislative District, Representative Fitzgibbon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the joint session now be dissolved.
Representative Fitzgibbon has moved, and it has been seconded, that the joint session now be dissolved. As many are in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. The joint session is dissolved. It is now my privilege to return the gavel to Speaker Jenkins. It is always an honor.
Will the Sergeant at Arms of the House and the Sergeant at Arms of the Senate please come forward and escort President of the Senate Denny Heck, President Pro Tem Steve Conway, Senator Nobles, Senator Short, and members of the Washington State Senate from the House chamber. Tell me how I can help you too, Steve. The representative from the 34th District, Representative Fitzgibbon.
Madam Speaker, I move that the House now adjourn until 10:30 a.m. January 14th, the third legislative day.
It's been moved and seconded that the House adjourn until 10:30 a.m. January 14th. As many are as in favor, say aye. As many are as opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. The House is now adjourned until 10:30 a.m. January 14th, the third legislative day.